Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Life According to Creed, the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Creed Cole, and the song of the week is Foxy Brown and Jay-Z. I'll be there. 50 years of hip hop. All the way from the I'm too loud. Yes, this I wanna be. No shit, yo, shit, ass in front of me. Take it there and take it back. That shit ain't happened since the map was out. Low Falana, drip and Gabbana, 90 style, we finest style. Run away to the fit, wanna taste the shit? Put me on a base, then throw your face in it. Fuck up, nah, y'all can't touch her. My sex drive all night like a trucker. Let alone the skills I possess. Y'all gonna see by these mills I possess. Never settle for less. I'm in excess, not inexpensive. EVS, chill. That's just the way I'm built. Nasty, class, spirit. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Welcome. Welcome to Life According to Creed, the podcast. As always, I am your host, Creed Cole. And I ain't gonna lie. The reason why we got some Foxy Brown and Jay-Z, I'll be there because social media this week. Sexy Red, Sukiana, clearly dropped their single. I don't know the name of the single because I will not be patronizing. But via social media, I saw a lot of different takes and things like that about it. You know, there are the people that are saying that, you know, they're coming for the artist known as Sexy Red due to colorism. There are some that say that they are coming at her because she's popping and they're just simply jealous. There are some that say that the critiques of her musical content are warranted. There are people who are saying they always been talking about nasty stuff, and that's my point. Female rappers outside of the, you know, truly conscious female rappers, there has always been a part of the female rap genre where the lyrics have been sexually explicit. That's not something that's new. That's not something that's cutting edge. That's not something that is, you know, like they're talking about their bodies and having sex with people. No, none of that is new. None of it's new. But what is new is the lack of actual lyrical talent, the lack of lyrical delivery. What I want for people to notice is why this during Foxy's entire verse, she is talking about her vagina, what she gonna do with it, and what she want that man to do to her. The entire song. The difference between a song that came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, where women like female rappers like Little Kim, Trina, Foxy Brown were all, that's what they were spitting. They were actually spitting. They're actually spitting. And the crazy thing about it is, Sexy Red probably can rap. Like, she probably can rap. She probably could throw out punchlines. She could probably do all that. She probably battle rap, all that. But we'll never know. Because right now, they're trying to one up the class that came before them, like a Meg Thee Stallion, a Lotto, a Cardi. You know, they're trying to one up them as far as shock value is concerned. And the thing about it, because the music that those other artists that I just named just now, the music that they put out wasn't shocking. It wasn't shocking. It wasn't shocking to anybody who's been listening to hip hop the past 30 years. You know, talking heads made a big deal about it, but to anybody, any adults, and by what I mean by adults, I don't mean people who are legal age in the United States to be considered an adult. I mean people 30 and up. Nothing that them girls was putting out was a surprise. This music here isn't even a surprise. What's surprising is the fact that they got major record label deals with and not displaying any actual talent on their singles. It's not the content, it's the delivery of the content. Now, for some, it might be respectability policies. Hell, I don't know. For some, it might be that. Oh my God, I can't believe they're talking about that. And for those people, I mean, be for real. But for those of us who love hip hop, who love rap music, have always loved rap music, especially us female rap lovers, our issue ain't got nothing to do with the fact that y'all talking about y'all bodies, what y'all gonna do, and getting a bag. It's not a matter of y'all saying y'all is claiming the fact that you're ratchet, because any any woman, any grown woman who is honest with herself knows that no matter what her professional capacity is, there's ratchet in there, even if she wasn't raised ratchet. It ain't even that. It's the fact that y'all are putting out garbage material. See, you can't you can't to none of that. Y'all literally, like, they're literally talking over top of tracks, making anything up on the end of a verse in order to make it rhyme with something else. Like, it's if it even does that. But nonetheless, that was my rant. That was my rant. I wasn't gonna make no social media post about it because I ain't trying to get trolled. I ain't trying to get trolled on TikTok and all that with all these people telling me what they think and pretending like it's a take on what I said, but then talking about 50 other things other than what I actually said. I ain't got that kind of time. I work a 9 to 5. I do this. I got clothing to sell, merchandise to sell. Like, I ain't got time. Nonetheless, let's get to the topic of the night. Shouts out to Jay Brunchin, located in Florence, South Carolina, owned and operated by Miss J White. Jessica White. You can check out Jay Brunchin on all social media platforms by typing in Jay Brunchin to see her catering work. She's literally providing all the ultimate vibes, and she also provided me with this brunch punch. So shouts out for that. So I had to give her a little bit of a plug. Make sure, before we get into the topic, make sure that, because this week, this is the last couple of days, August 31st, the sale ends. We have the LifeWorks 6-month daily planner. We have the LifeWorks scratchbook and the Love of Your Life journal, which is 5 stories, 5 concepts of self-awareness, and 50 questions to ask before you start back dating, and not 50 questions to ask somebody you're interested in, 50 questions to ask yourself. All available at www.lifeaccordingtocree.org for half the price if they are ordered off the website. They are also available on Amazon. The sale that is on my website is not on Amazon and cannot be adjusted. So make sure that this week, because we're prepping for self-care month. September is self-care awareness month. It is literally the month when my podcast went into full swing. So we're trying to get prepared. We're trying to get prepared to do some of these exercises, to implement some new things into our lives as women that we may not implement, things we stopped doing that we want to start back doing, time that we want to take for ourselves that we haven't been taking. This is our self-care starting point. September. So
If you need a little bit of push as far as organization is concerned, those items are available. Like I said, they are half off at www.lifeaccordingtocree.org if you purchase them through my website. If you go to Amazon, they are full price. But I thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your support. Either way, thank you for your support, and thank you to everyone who has went out and purchased one of my items since I've been running the sale. Um, I'm down to 3 copies each of the physical copies that I had that are available through my website. Um, the ones that are on Amazon are infinite. So get into it. Get into it. I'm not gonna know that you bought a self-help journal. All Amazon gonna tell me is that somebody in the United States purchased it and what my cut is. So because I don't get the whole thing, I get a cut. So make sure that you're getting what you need. If you want to get it from me, that's great. If you don't want to get it from me, that's cool too. Just make sure that you get it. Okay. Um, but let's get into this topic. Um, and as you know, August was National Black Business Month. And so I had people on who own black businesses here in the area. But to close out the month, because this is literally the last episode of the month before we go into self-care week, self-care month, I want to get back into some Life According to Cree content. And Life According to Cree content is all about being the best you that you can be. Being the best you that you can be, and oh, the microphone is not here for aesthetic. The microphone is here so that you can hear me because I am still a little hoarse from doing it big all weekend long. We had a time. We gonna say it. We had a time this weekend. Loved every minute of it. Um, but that leads me into my topic for the evening. I was at an event. I was at an event, and I was in a conversation where I was asked um what my friend would think of what the discussion was about. And I was like, "Oh, I ain't got no friend." And because I make it well known that I am not currently putting energy into entering into any type of romantic relationship, because I'm literally working on all of my other ships, not just these projects, but like my actual personal ships with other people, other things, etc. That I do not at this time. The husband is the last thing on my mind. I say it around, so I threw I threw it for confirmation, so the person would think that I would just say it to be said it to someone else that I know. And wow, that hardly ever happens to me anymore. But I threw the conversation over to someone else that knows me personally to pretty much, co-sign on the fact that like I'm really living a lifestyle where I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure they didn't do that again. I'm pretty much living a lifestyle where that is, if I had a top 10 list of things, entering into a romantic relationship with someone at this time would be number 10. But I threw it over to somebody who could confirm that that's really what I'm doing. And it sparked a conversation within that portion of the event where I was actually asked, was I serious about it, and why would I want that? And I'm trying to field the questions. I'm trying to field the questions because I'm a pretty open person. I ain't got no reason to lie about anything or pretend like what it is ain't what it is. That's just not me. So I actually go to explain, which is a lot for me because I don't feel comfortable explaining myself necessarily in mixed rooms and things of that nature, especially about things that are personal and deep to me. I'm very important to me. Um what's going on in my world is very important to me. And the people that I have in my world currently are important to me. And those topics about those things and uncomfortable things about those things. I just don't really like to do a mixed company. But since I was asked, I went on ahead and explained it. And I actually told them, I have multiple projects going on. I'm keeping myself together. I got a couple of things, family wise, that I'm working my way through. And even though I know that I probably could meet someone, or there's a possibility that I could meet someone who would be able to spiritually, mentally, physically help me with all of those things, what I know currently is that I wouldn't be able to reciprocate what they gave me. I know that I wouldn't necessarily be able to reciprocate that. I know that I don't want to give that type of energy to someone else, to someone else's thoughts, feelings, etc. That's not what I want to do right now. I want to focus on putting that energy into what I'm already putting that energy into. And that I don't personally think is fair, knowing that I don't want to, not that I'm not capable of. I can stretch myself, but I don't want to stretch myself. Knowing that I don't want to stretch myself in order to provide that to another person or reciprocate that to another person, I am choosing to stay single. Going out on dates and stuff is cool. Talking on the phone, getting to know people is cool. But as far as pushing towards committed relationships, marriage, etc., that's not what I want to do at this time. And especially taking the fact that I spent 80% of my adulthood up until 2018 in relationships. Like, it's not as if I had 3 long-term relationships that went on for years, 2 in my 20s and 1 in my 30s. When that one ended, I needed to find out who I was to even know if being in a relationship was even something worth having. Because if you follow my content, I'm completely. I was dying. I was dying. I was in a relationship and dying with someone who verbally encouraged me daily, acknowledged the fact that I was beautiful and I did all these things and I was such a great person and all that, but still did what they wanted to do. So for me to express that I'm making a choice and then to be questioned as to why I would make that choice, even though I thought I explained it very eloquently. I gave the long story short version, even to the point where I was asked that for the things that I've been going through and the things that I've been working on, as far as Crystal is concerned, as far as Cree is concerned, asking had I sought therapy and then asked if I sought prayer. And you can see who don't watch your content. You can tell who think you blowing smoke up people's asses. You can tell. You could always tell. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it brought me to my topic for this week. As I said, I'm gonna talk about this because I can't possibly be the only adult single person, not even just woman, but the only adult single person that's possibly mid to late 30s, early 40s, hell, mid to late 40s, who gets the question, at the most inopportune times, like, why are you single? I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one. And that's what we're gonna talk about this evening. Because I don't think a lot of people probably saw, saw the release for this week and me saying, Let me respond back to this. I usually don't do this, but I gotta do it for this right here. Because I know I can't be the only person who gets this type of question, especially when in group settings, and feels the way that I felt about it. Now, what I said was what I said. It wasn't sugar coated or anything, but the complete lack of understanding, because the people involved were listening to respond rather than to understand, baffles me. Like, how can you question the decisions of another adult person who eloquently explains to you the reason for their decisions? And I know I can't be the only one that's experienced it. I remember I used to hear little jokes, about the single one that come to the single one that come to them and be like, "Where your man at? Oh Lord, he got no wife yet. Is it straight?" We used to make little jokes like that and all that kind of stuff. But how insensitive is that? Like, this episode ain't for the single people. It's for all the people it's all the surrounding people who feel as if their opinion or that they have a stake in the marital status of others. Now, I did a little bit of research. And I found the top 5 reasons that men and women, and this is just as late as 2022, gave to why they are single. Number 5 on the list for women was, I'm focused on my career / education. And we all know about that. We go hard, especially as African American women. Once we get one degree, once we get one certification, we want the one to go along with it. Once we get that one, we want the complete box set. If I'm gonna say that I'm a certified professional coder, I want to be a certified professional coder. I also want to have a degree in health information management. Once I get that associate's degree, then I'm going to go get those credits in order to get that bachelor's, et cetera, so on. We box set type people as far as our education is concerned. Number four is, and I'm going through all of them because I got to go through all 10 because it's 5 for men, 5 for women. So still run with me. Number 4 for women is, I don't need a relationship. I'm happy. I'm happy right where I'm at. I'm good. Number 3, I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got no time for that. I ain't got time to be sending to nobody else. Number 2, I'm focused on me right now. Now I'm gonna give y'all the top 5 reasons. I only gave you 4. I'm gonna come back to number 1 on women, but I'm gonna give you the top 5 reasons for men as of 2022. In the United States. I want to be free and explore my options. Number 4, I've been hurt before and I'm not ready. Number 3, every marriage I've witnessed has failed. Number 2, no one seems to understand my lifestyle. And then the reason why I saved number 1 and number 2 on both number 1 for both men and women is because they actually the most frequently given answer amongst men and women surveyed by marriage.com. Yeah, a marriage site was asking these single people this. For the married people who watch my podcast and think that there's something separate, but I'll come back there. The number 1 reason why men and or women gave out marriage.com about being single was, I don't know. Both men and women gave the answer, I don't know. That says a lot. It says a lot. Because not only does it show a lack of self-awareness and self-understanding. The I don't know, screams I haven't given I haven't given the energy or looked enough into me to even find out. But it also speaks volumes to the fact that it's not a priority. For a lot of single people, not being single is not their top priority. Because a lot of times there are other mitigating circumstances or real life decision making that has gone on to where they decided that being in a committed relationship is not what they want to do at this point, sometimes maybe ever. I let that sit there because I want you to actually think about it. What is so wrong with someone not wanting to be in a committed relationship? What is it? I'm going to put that on TikTok. What is it that triggers people who are in committed relationships to question people who say that they don't want to be in one? What's the trigger? What's the trigger? What is it that you feel that that person does not have in their life because they do not have a significant other? What is it outside of another physical being? What is it that you feel is missing from the person that they are? Especially when it's a loved one, when it's a family member, when it's a special coworker, someone that you talk to every day. What is it that you feel like that person is lacking other than another physical body that they can only get by being in a committed relationship and or marriage to someone else? What's your trigger? Who said that that wasn't okay? And then for the people who are in committed relationships and marriages who question or frown upon, because you can say whatever you want to say, you can say it's cool or whatever, but if you question it, it's clearly something that's not 1 + 1 and then 2 for you. So what is it that you believe is the alternative to not being in a committed relationship and or marriage? That's my challenge. That's my challenge for the rest of this week. For married and people who are in committed relationships, prayerfully leading toward marriage. What do you all believe is the alternative? Before you got into a committed relationship or got married, what was your alternative? What were you doing in place of? Because I really feel like that's part of the problem. That's the trigger. Not necessarily that you want that thing back. I don't believe that. I believe that most people who enter into committed relationships and get married, most people really truly are in love with that other person. But what is it about a single person singling bothers you? What were you doing when you were single? What do you think they're doing? Because let me explain something to some of y'all. Let me explain something to some of y'all that y'all might not, you ain't got to believe me. But choosing to be single does not mean promiscuity. Choosing to be single does not mean interfering in committed relationships and marriages. Choosing to be single does not equal loneliness. Choosing to be single does not equal loathing. There's two things that are absolutely certain for all the church folk. There are two things that are all like 100% certain. You come into this world as a single individual, you leave this world as a single individual. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. My comments are wide open. Tell me I'm lying. Those are two things that are facts. Two things that are fact. For every single woman under the sound of my voice and listening to my podcast, when God made Adam, he created him in his own image, correct? He dust, manifested. There was Adam. In order to create Eve, he reached inside of Adam and removed what is said to be a rib and created Eve. Nowhere in that text does it say that we were created and missing anything. The only thing that text implies was missing from anyone was Adam. So we gotta stop assuming that because, and right now I'm talking about women specifically, that if you're a woman and you're not in a committed relationship, ladies, we got to stop taking that as we're missing something. We were splendidly and perfectly made in our entirety. In our entirety. Now, the reason why we love so hard and why we're so connected to men is because we came from them. That connection is a connection that'll never be broken. But we're not missing anything. So married person, committed person in committed relationship, what are you missing? What were you missing? Now that you're in a committed relationship or you're married, is that space filled? And if it is, that is great. That is awesome. But what happens if that person takes away their presence? See, I made a decision with the help of my therapist that while there is absolutely no such thing as a perfect human, I would strive to be the closest version of perfection for the season that I am currently in. I will make my list of goals. I will make my list of things that I want to change about me. I will make my list of things that I want to maintain about me. I will make a list of the things that I like about me, the things that I love about me. And I will focus on replenishing me. And see, a lot of y'all draw your own conclusions about what the life according to Creed stands for, because the acronym are the initials of love yourself first. Love yourself first doesn't mean that you don't love anybody else. Loving yourself first does not mean that you can't tend to the feelings and the needs of other people. It doesn't even mean that you put the feelings and needs of others on the back burner. What it means is that you do the necessary work in the time in which you have to be full so that you can love others correctly. That's what it means. So if being single for me, I'll talk about me. If being single for me right now means giving time to my dreams and aspirations, giving time to be the best at my actual career that I can be, paying attention to my body and listening to my body, receiving the physical, mental, and spiritual care that I need in order to feel good about myself, in order to feel good within my body, in order to be able to feel good in my mind in the process of information, not from an emotional place, but from a place of logic. If that means that I have to not be attached to another person and provided a title to feel secure, then that's what it's going to be. And sometimes, ladies, we have to make that type of decision. Sometimes it comes down to you saying, I am choosing me. I'm choosing me. Because let's keep it a whole book. We are women, we are fantastic, whimsical, mystical, strong creatures that have the ability, because we were made as a whole, we were created whole, we have the ability to transform and manipulate into, fit into any spaces that we need to fit into in order to to course correct, in order to help, in order to assist. We were made whole so that we would be able to fulfill the duties of a helpmeet. Literally. But we know that it's not no year BC. We know that now we have to fit into spaces. Once you become a mother, once you start a career, once you all this stuff, you have to be able to fit into multiple spaces and manage them correctly. There's no rule that says that you have to die in it. There's no rule that says you have to be stressed out dragging your bags like the bag lady. It doesn't have to be that way. Now, things are gonna get hard. Ain't nobody finna be bouncing around, skipping, doing duties for their kids, their husband, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their mamas, their daddies, and all them skipping around every day. That's completely unrealistic. That's completely unrealistic. But taking the time to replenish yourself and to give yourself the things that you need, supply them for yourself, even when nobody else can supply them for you. When nobody else can fill your cup, you need to be able to fill your own cup. You can't just keep operating on empty or complaining, putting more energy out of your body to complain to another individual about what they're not providing to you. You should be able to encourage yourself. The songwriter said it. You should be able to pour between you and God. You should be able to pour into yourself. You should be able to take a minute and not focus so much on the title of things. I can go ahead and tell you, I have not been in a committed relationship. I haven't been committed to a relationship since 2018. Not a romantic relationship. But I had one of the best friends I have ever had in a man where there was not a romantic component. He listened to me. He listened to me. He understood me. That man could determine how I was feeling by the way that I breathed in his presence. And it didn't take for him to call me his girlfriend or for me to be his wife in order for him to do that. You can achieve those things without a committed relationship. You can achieve those things without marriage. And I personally, I don't feel like marriage should be a goal until you're actually meet someone that you want to be committed to. Because see, when you make marriage the goal before you even meet somebody, you spend more time trying to fit them into what you want to marry than finding out who they are. And by chance, if you actually do get married, now you have to go through the whole process of getting to know who they truly are. And then you have to make the decision of whether or not you want to stay in that. Then you got to make the decision of whether or not it's worth this. Are you staying for your vows or are you staying for the person? See, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to get to know the person that I'm with while I'm with them. When I commit to a relationship, I want it to be because I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. I've seen the dirty, dusty, nasty, messy dog. I wanna have experienced them on all levels. I don't want to have to call my mama and ask my mama why this man doing this. And then married and people in committed relationships, y'all gotta make sure that y'all gotta make sure that what y'all have is something to aspire to, other than just having somebody else there. Before you go out judging people, because everybody's not like me. I live by the creed. You like it, you like it. I love it, and I'm gonna respect whatever you got going on. That's what I live by. Not all people do it. Asking someone why they're single is just is at 30, late 30s, 40s, 50 years old, is just as tactless as asking a woman within that same age group, you don't want no kids? Why you ain't had no kids yet? What you waiting on to have kids? It's just as tactless. I know y'all probably ain't the but it's not okay. And a lot of times, those people don't ask you what you got married for. Them same people don't ask you what you had all them kids for. You would think they were crazy. You would think if someone asked you if you were talking about how much you loved being married, and someone's response to you was, "Well, why you did that? Because of this." You would think they were out their mind. If you had 2 to 5 kids and you were talking about how much you love your kids and how much you love the things they do and talking about little cute things they do, and somebody said, "Oh Lord, why you got all them kids?" You would think they were crazy. You would think they were nuts. So why on earth would you do the reverse to another person? Respect is a two-way street. Respect is a two-way street. And everyone's reasoning for not wanting to engage in committed relationships is not based upon the opposite sex. I hate to bring the bearer of bad news, because that's what grandmama and them said, and that's what the people on the TV used to say on the shows, and that's what the people in the songs say, and then now that's what the people on the internet say. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not 100% true. Are there people that applies to? Yes, that apply to everybody. No. No matter what their reasoning is, you all have to respect that person's decision. The same way that you expect for them to respect your choice to be in a committed relationship and to get married, you have to respect the fact that some people don't want to rush it, some people don't want to settle, and some people just don't want it. And it's okay. You know, if you're the type of person that's in a committed relationship or in a marriage and you don't really like intermingling, with single people, that's cool. If because you don't know, this person isn't committed to anybody, so you don't know how they move in their personal time or when they're not around you, and that makes you uncomfortable with that person to being around your significant other, that's cool. You have the right to set your boundaries around your relationship and your marriage. You have the right to set those boundaries. But you can't pressure, you can't try to pressure people or shame people into wanting the things that you want for the reasons that you wanted them for. Because the thing is, every time every time someone asks me why I'm single and I tell them my reason why, and then they give me the reasons why I shouldn't want to be single, they're always generic. They're always generic reasons. You naming off stuff that another person can do that already between me and God is already supplied. And he ain't tell me nothing about he gonna send somebody else to fill that space for him when he can't get to me right then. He ain't tell me that. So who are you? Who are you? Especially when you're not that person for somebody. Now, I can understand the people who are in committed relationships and marriages who have single friends, family members, etc., that are always coming to them with something that's going on with them, always complaining, energy draining, you know, to the point where you like, oh my God, I can't tend to my husband, my wife, my kids, and all of them, and tend to whatever he got going on, she got going on, whatever. Now, if you want to come for that person, or you want to sit down with that person, number one, don't suggest they get a man or a woman first. Actually get to know them. Actually get to know what they're going through. And if you want to help and you have time to help, then help. If you don't want to or you can't, then don't. But shaming them or attempting to shame them and calling it keeping it real, being blunt, being straight to the point. There's a very fine line between doing those things. And I'm somebody who says what comes to my mind 99.9% of the time. But there's a very thin line between being that type of person and being tactless, being insensitive, being just plain flat out disrespectful. If balancing single life, single people, and your married committed relationship life is a problem or becomes tedious at times, don't do both. Don't do both. And for you single people who have those people who do that, don't let these people gaslight you into getting into a relationship or committing to somebody that you don't want to be with, that you know that in your heart of hearts you don't want to be with. It is not the time of arranged marriages. It is not the time of back like during Color Purple when the time frame of when Color Purple was supposed to be taking place like back in the 1920s, 1930s, where Mister go and pick a girl and then you learn to love them. It's not that time. It's not that time. And if you feel like that is the direction that people are taking you in and you are not comfortable with that, say so. Say so. If they love you, they'll respect it. If they love you, they'll respect it. I posted today. You remember that scene in Wait Till Exhale where Savannah on the phone with her mama talking about the married man with the daughter that won't leave his wife for Savannah? You know, Pops in and out or whatever, always complaining about the woman but won't leave the woman. And he treats Savannah real good and do little stuff for Savannah. And her mama on the phone, he's a good man. He's just going through a lot right now. And Savannah's like, oh my, I don't know, because I just feel like I might could do something else. She's like, he's a good man, Savannah. With a ball. He's a good man. Well, he's a good man. Well, the man is unfaithful to his wife and his child. They're a package deal. He been unfaithful to his kids too. That's what I hear in my head when I see people trying to force feed relationships to people. That's what I hear. And I refuse to let another person's insecurities about being alone become my insecurities. I refuse to let people who have never dated determine how I date. The same way that a married person would refuse to allow me to tell them how to manage their marriage. I'll leave y'all with this. Respect one another. Respect one another. Respect the decisions of others. Respect the time and energy that they do put in to projects and the stuff that makes them happy. Respect those things when it comes to other people. Your marriage or committed relationship makes you happy, it completes you. There's no guarantee that that's going to be the thing that defines the other person, your friend, your family member, your coworker. You know, it's all about loving people in a manner in which they want to be loved, and that courtesy not only needs to be extended to significant others, it needs to be extended to the other ships in your life too. Your family, your friendships. The same grace, gratitude, and respect that you give to your significant other, you should give to other people also. Are you giving it to them because of the title or because they deserve it? That's all I got for tonight. Thank you all, as always, for rocking with me. The comment section is always wide open. If you are interested in life coaching services, and like I always say, life coaching is for where you are now and where you want to go. If you need some help with before this point, you need a therapist. You need a therapist. I tell you what, therapists tell you why. You can go to lifeaccordingtocree.org, go to online booking and see what services we have available. All of them are virtual, i.e. via Zoom or by phone. There are payment plans, etc., etc. You can go and check that out. If you just want to talk, you just want to chit chat, you just want to get some stuff off your chest, feel free to hit me up anytime on social media at Life According to Cree on all social media platforms. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. I say TikTok because TikTok is where the series Random Thoughts of an Aquarius Woman, as well as Put Me In Coach, are located. Please go and check those out. Watch, follow, and subscribe. Now that we're talking about subscribing, make sure that you subscribe right here to my YouTube page. The button, subscribe. There's a new episode every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I love to interact with people, so it is what it is. I'm a people person most of the time. But thank you all. Make sure you go out there, check out the merch. Make sure you hit up the Life Shop, hit up the Tea Shop, the Book Shop. All of it is life affirming clothing, athleisure wear, books, journals, etc. Also, are getting yourself where you want to go, not where I want you to go, but getting yourself where you want to go. Thank you all for all the support that I have received thus far. I promise you, it does not go unnoticed. Be on the lookout on all my social media platforms for dates where I will be in the area, where I'll be in the area speaking, etc. Like things are starting to open up, and I love it because I want to be able to share what's on my heart with the world. And I think that's it. So until next time, next week's episode, mention a little bit at the beginning of the episode. We gonna take a little look at colorism. So make sure you check that out with my special guest, Winsor Shields. And that's a wrap. Good night. Say, be blessed and happy healing. And as always, I have to hit 2 buttons. Y'all don't mind me. Good night.